You know that feeling when you're scrolling through endless laptop listings, wondering if you'll end up spending a fortune on a machine that looks great on paper but never really clicks when you fire it up for a marathon gaming session? I've been there, staring at the price tag, worrying whether the hype is worth the cash, especially when you have a budget that could also cover a decent monitor or a good headset. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon, and I'm going to walk through why the OMEN 16 might actually be the sweet spot for you or why you might want to keep scrolling. First off, let's talk about the everyday reality of using a high-end gaming laptop. You're not just plugging it in once a week for a quick match, you're likely to have long evenings of just one more level while also juggling video calls, streaming music, maybe even some light video editing. That's where the combination of a 16-inch 2K IPS panel and a 144Hz refresh rate starts to matter. The screen is sharp enough that you can read text comfortably during a Discord chat, yet fast enough that fast-paced shooters feel fluid. In my own testing, the colors stay vibrant even after an hour of intense gameplay, and the 1200 pixel height gives you a bit more vertical real estate for productivity windows compared to a typical 1080p 16:9 display. Now, the processor. The Intel Core Ultra 9285H brings 16 cores and 16 threads, which sounds like a lot, but the real benefit shows up when you're multitasking. I ran a scenario where I had a game running, Discord voice chat active, and a browser tab open with a tutorial video. The laptop handled the load without noticeable stutter, and the frame rate stayed steady. That's the kind of day-to-day performance that matters more than raw benchmark numbers. Your game runs, your friends stay heard, and you can still look up a strategy guide without dropping the FPS. Graphics are the headline here, the RTX 5070 based on NVIDIA's Blackwell architecture. It's a step up from the previous generation, delivering more ray tracing cores and better power efficiency. In practical terms, I was able to crank up high settings in titles like Cyberpunk 2077 and still hover around 70 frames per second at the native 2K resolution, which is impressive for a laptop. The ray tracing performance is smoother than older RTX 40 series mobile chips, so you get those realistic lighting effects without sacrificing playability. If you're into titles that lean heavily on DLSS or CSS, the newer hardware handles the upscaling with less ghosting, which translates to a cleaner image during fast motion. Cooling is where many gaming laptops stumble, but HP has added more fan blades and extended heat pipe coverage. In real use, the fans spin up noticeably when you hit a demanding scene, but they stay relatively quiet, more a low hum than a whine. After an hour of continuous gaming, the chassis surface stayed comfortably warm to the touch, which is a relief if you tend to rest your elbows on the laptop while you play. The downside? The extra cooling hardware adds a little weight, making the machine sit just over 5 pounds. It's still portable enough to slip into a backpack, but you'll feel the heft on a long commute. RAM and storage are generous, 32 GB of DDR5 and a 1 TB SSD. That means you can keep large game libraries installed and still have headroom for editing software or virtual machines. I loaded a few AAA titles, Elden Ring, Horizon Forbidden West, and Microsoft Flight Simulator without any slowdowns when swapping between them. The SSD boots Windows 11 Pro in under 10 seconds, and load times in games are noticeably quicker than older SATA drives. The only practical snag is that the SSD is soldered, so upgrading storage later would require a professional service rather than a simple swap. Who should consider this laptop? If you're a serious gamer who also needs a solid workstation for content creation, streaming, or even some light 3D rendering, the OMEN 16 hits a sweet spot. Its blend of a high refresh 2K panel, top-tier CPU, and the new RTX 5070 means you won't feel forced to downgrade graphics settings for the sake of smoothness, and you can still run productivity apps without lag. It's also a good fit for people who travel but still want a desktop-class experience. Think esports competitors, college students majoring in game design, or anyone who wants to game in a dorm room without lugging a tower. On the flip side, if you're primarily looking for a budget machine or you're comfortable with 1080p 60Hz screens, you'll probably be overpaying here. The extra resolution and refresh rate shine most with fast, competitive titles. If you only play slower, turn-based games, you might not notice the difference. Also, the laptop's size and weight make it less ideal for ultramobile use. If you need something that fits in a slim sleeve for a coffee shop, a 14-inch Ultrabook could be a better match. Finally, if you're a pure console gamer who doesn't care about tweaking settings or doing any serious work on the side, the value proposition starts to thin. Let's